All right, friends, this is the very chunky part of our autumn equinox talk. Everything on the table you see before you are correspondences and things that you can incorporate. One of the reasons I wanted to make it so large, well, there's a few. One is I have a hard time stopping once I look at stuff I want to include. Um, but the other part is to let you know that there are a lot of choices you have. Again, we talked about this just a little bit in the very beginning about how we really don't want you to feel nailed down to just one way of doing things. We want you to be able to like tweak stuff and make it your own and really find what resonates with you. Now, some of the stuff that you see today that I talked to you about may not be things that other people have shared as far as like what they would consider to be a correspondence for autumn equinox. However, I'm going to go through why I picked these things and also to encourage you to kind of find your own and to find your own rhythm as far as this goes. So, it's very hard to fit everything in the screen here, guys, but I'm going to do my best. So, I've got this kind of broken up a little bit. So, over here, which is off camera for this camera, I've got herbs that we're going to talk about, smudging we're going to talk about a little bit, some candles, some stones that are really good. Also, going to talk about food correspondences and a few more things down there at the end. So let's just go ahead and jump in. So keep in mind that you could use these for a variety of things. And I am off camera on purpose so you guys can see everything we have laid out for you. So actually I have two baskets of herbs that we're going to talk about, except my cauldron's sitting on one here. There we go. So there's two baskets of herbs, and I'm going to go over these like relatively quickly for you, but you'll still be able to get the gist of what's going on here. So as we start, so equinox is a bit of a transitional time for us. So like some of these first herbs and things we're going to talk about are going to be like end of summer. And then, we've just hit end of summer, so it's like end of summer, very beginning of autumn. And these are going to be more towards end of autumn. So some things that are going to be really important for you to use are going to be salt. You're going to need salt when you do your circle for your ritual or for protection. So we just try to use non-iodized salt for that. So we've got this is a Dead Sea salt, and this is a Himalayan pink. So you can use either of those. You're also going to want to focus on some of those herbs that are like more sun related. So calendula would be a really good one. I also really like bay, but I use bay almost year round. I'm a little biased. Um, Elderberries, because of course we're like building up immunity before the weather gets cold. Um, Rosemary. Rosemary is a really good one for working with spirit. And the last one I wanted to spend just a few more minutes talking about is called Kinnick Kinnick. This is an offering blend. You can smoke it. There is no tobacco in it. It contains bearberry, mullein leaf, red willow bark, osha root, and yerba santa. But as we said, this is a gratitude holiday, so it's good to have things that you can like offer to spirit or offer to a fire if you have it. You can offer this in the form of smoke, so like if you decide to smoke it, you could also interpret the images and the smoke that come out of it. You can put this into a fire. You can also put this in prayer ties if you want to do that. So this is kind of more the beginning part of autumn equinox herbs. This next one is kind of as we get a little further along in the season. We're not quite at Samhain yet, but these are like more transitional type of herbs. And a lot of these are going to be warming herbs. They're going to be herbs for the darker time of the year. Um, I should mention a lot of these often have warnings. All of our warnings are listed. Hopefully you can see that on our bag right there. And most of these have the same warning, 3, 12, 3, 4, and 12. I'm pretty sure that's it. So, like, don't use if you're pregnant, harmful if used incorrectly. 12 is may cause allergic dermatitis, which in short means it can make you itchy. So, let's see, let's do this like this. Okay, so these are like more warming herbs. So there's like ginger, also a really good one for the sun because of the color. Cinnamon, also really good because of the color. Cloves. Cloves are a nice warming herb. And then, of course, chai. This is like a chai tea blend. So you can brew this and use this also. Whenever I give offerings, I like to give something I can drop or burn, but I also like to try and give something liquid. So you could definitely do a tea and do that as an offering. And then we have mugwort, wormwood, and skullcap. So mugwort is very good for contacting source or spirit. So is wormwood. Mugwort's also really good for dream work. So if you put it like in a little bag and stick it underneath your pillow, it's good for lucid dreamings or remembering your dreams. And we also have skullcap. Again, these are kind of more towards the end of this holiday season. I did include the idea of the cauldron. It's a little out of range, so I'll bring in Big Mama. This is Big Mama. So since we're at that time of balance and that time of gratitude, this can be like that symbol of like everything that you're receiving, going back in, giving thanks. She's a two-hander. And like even symbols of the cauldron, like this is just a nice candle. We've just gotten these in. Sorry, might have been off camera there. So we've covered kind of herbs there. Sage is always really important, and we'll come back to smudging in the next video. The incense, this Mother Earth incense is a really nice one to use right now because it's also, all that food comes from the earth, so it's important that we show gratitude. So that's a good one. I've got our home blessing candle out. We'll go into that more in the last video as well. Moving along, I'd like to start talking about stones as correspondences. Those, of course, are very important too. I've pulled citrine. This is what citrine looks like. These are some new bracelets that we've gotten in. It's a nice sun color, so again, we're still corresponding with that sun energetic. This is a stone that I don't think a lot of people would pick. But it's agate, and these agate slices are always just really fun. They're very easy to find, but agate promotes balance in all areas of your life, so that's a good one. I pulled the amethyst because that one is really good also for abundance. Smoky quartz is really good for this time of year. That's kind of when we're getting ready to start moving between the worlds. So this is what smoky quartz looks like. It's also very, very protective. And since we're getting ready to get into that time of year where divination is really important, I also included some moonstone. So this is moonstone and lava, and this is rainbow moonstone. But I'd really encourage you, especially at this time of the year, to consider working with a different color of moonstone. So this is what's called peach or gray. That's what that little baby looks like. And then this is Mel's favorite. This is black moonstone. We don't get it in a whole lot, but it's very chatoyant, it's very shimmery. So there's your $3 word, guys, chatoyant. That means really, really shiny. So, like moonstone is chatoyant, labradorite is chatoyant. So then your next crossword puzzle, you can use that. Another one I'm really fond of this time of year is amber. Now this one is going to look really, really dark because it's kind of a bigger sphere. This one you might be able to see a little more color in it. It's kind of a brownish gold. Really kind of feels like it harvests that energy of the sun. Harvests? Harvests. Harvests that energy of the sun. So I really like amber for this time of year as well. Also makes me think of my magical folks that I used to see back in like around Lammas. So just personally, it's a really good one for me. Way over here on this far end of the table is selenite. And you might be asking yourself, why is this selenite kind of wavy? Like if you look at it, it's not exactly straight. Selenite's in the halite family, so if you get this wet or around water or moisture, it will essentially melt. So like if you took this stick and you like laid it over a pencil and left it, say, in your bathroom where it's very steamy, it would get like an arch in it. It would kind of curve. Some of it would melt away, but it would also get like an arch in it and make it curve. A handy thing you can do, selenite is really good for helping cut ties. So if you could get like a thinner piece of this, it wouldn't have to be thinner, but it would just for sake of ease. You could get a thinner piece of this and you could actually write on it what you want to release, put it in a bowl of water, let it dissolve, put a little salt in it, and then once it's dissolved, go out and pour the water out onto Mother Earth. Let her take that energy and let her recycle it into something better for you. So that's a really good use of selenite. I'm going to walk around to the other side here for you and not kill myself on cords. But we did talk about the fact that this is it's a harvest festival. It's a gratitude festival. So there's a lot of food around this time of year. So you have like some of the things that are coming from the end of summer. And here I've got some tomatoes and some peppers. Again, still very like sun type of energy, but it's the time of the year when, we get the last of those fruits of the summer. I've also got some corn. Corn is starting to come in usually around this time. So is wheat. I've got some wheat up there. The squashes are beginning to come in. Grapes, of course. Grapes in other forms, of course. So again, just a lot of things that you could add energy to. And here's the thing, charge it before you eat it. And then how closer can you get to energy than to take it inside your body? So again, you could charge the corn, again, very good for that sun energy because of the color. The squash I feel is very sun energy as well. And the grapes I feel represent like the end of that harvest season. So let's see, I think you guys can still see this. Lastly, I've corresponded some colors with our candles for us. We have purple for like the purple of the harvest and the grapes, and for the wine, Hail Bacchus. Um, there's also red because it's the last of that summer heat. The green and gold are always really great for those harvest colors, the yellow for the sun, and of course the green for Mother Earth. And as we're moving out of that summer space and we're moving into more of that autumn space, we're starting to get closer to that ancestor energy. I just include ancestors wherever I possibly can, just part of my personal path. You obviously don't have to do this. However, I think it's really important to remember where we came from, whether it's family, whether it's culture, whether it's teachers that we've had, mentors, friends. We're going to be coming into that part of the season where it's going to be really important to make that connection with those folks. And we're going to touch more on this in our next video series we do that's going to be based on Samhain. So I realize I kind of went through those a little quick for you, but I really wanted to give you guys an idea of some different things that you can use as far as correspondences that you can work into your ritual. So in our next short video, we're going to talk about things that you can focus on for your ritual, ways that you can bring some of this into what you're doing, and just to make that connection with autumn equinox. All right, friends, we will see you in the next video.